In the panel, we have with us Swami Gunatitananda Saraswati ji. He is a monk from Chinmay Mission, a seeker of the truth and a disciple of Swami Chinmayananda. He studied Vedanta in India at Sandeepani Sadhanalaya of Chinmay Mission. He is presently based in Chinmay Mission of Sri Lanka as the resident Swami. In keeping with the vision of Chinmay Mission, inner transformation of individuals resulting in a happy world around them, he is engaged in sharing the knowledge culled from the scriptures in the modern context, motivating the adults as well as young adults, thereby enabling them to become positive contributors to society. Swami Gunatitananda Saraswati ji was a successful IT professional, well-versed in business management and IT practice prior to embarking on the journey in the search of the truth.
Hari Om, and a great day to all of you. Given the time constraints and the wide audience, let's try to keep this message simple. Spirituality and self-realization is the topic. Now, every human being, with no exception, wants to be free from sorrow and be happy, and that too forever. All our efforts, whether we do something or we don't do something, it is just for this only, to be free from sorrow and be happy forever. Yet, what is our experience? However much we try, we've been trying from the time we are born, and the scriptures say we've been trying this life after life. However much we try, we don't succeed. That is, to get rid of sorrow once and for all and be happy forever. Now, Bhagavad Gita says this is due to a mistaken identity. This endless strife and endless effort is going on because of this mistaken identity. Yes, whose identity? Our identity. Let's try to understand the reason behind this statement. Why Bhagavad Gita says this is due to mistaken identity. At present, if someone asks us who we are, then our answer will be in the lines of I'm so and so, all based on the lines of our body, mind, and things and beings connected and associated with the body and mind, which we call our personality. Interestingly, an identity, by definition, demands that it should be changeless, static, constant, and unique. That's what you call identity. However, the identity, what we use, which is based on the personality, is neither static nor unique. Because the identity which is based on our personality is finite, is constantly changing. But the identity by definition demands that it should be changeless and unique. Herein lies the conflict. And this conflict, that is, the identity have to be static, changeless, and unique. But the identity which is based on personality, which is constantly changing, which is finite, which is not unique at all. And there is a conflict here. And this conflict is what leads to agitation. And this agitation is what we call sorrow. So without realizing this, we continue to use our personality as our identity by pampering it and enhancing it, hopefully hoping it can play the role of changeless, unique identity. However much we try, we fail again and again in this effort. What's the solution? Scriptures say our identity doesn't lie with the changing and the finite personality, but with the changeless and infinite self. This is what the scriptures say. Based on this knowledge imparted by the scriptures, giving up the wrong identity which is based on the personality and asserting and establishing or re-establishing our identity with the infinite self is what is known as self-realization. Self-realization is the only way we can bring an end to our endless effort to be free from sorrow and be happy. Let's take a look at a practical application of this. The world in which we live and everything we use and connect with is constantly changing. As we deal with these changes, we become agitated and miserable. The reason for this is we're trying to hold on to our personality, which is changing. And by holding on to the changing personality, we are trying to deal with the changes of this world. We are trying to establish ourselves on our personality as we deal with these changes. There are two issues with this approach. First is, one cannot establish oneself with something which is changing constantly. Second is, one has to be established on the changeless to deal with the changing. Practical application of self-realization is establishing in the changeless and dealing with the changes, which enables us to rid of the sorrow and miseries to be effective and efficient. So spirituality is the means to establishing in the changeless self the knowledge and practice which enables us to change our perception of our identity, giving up the personality-based changing identity and establishing on our real identity. Spirituality is all about transcending the wrong notions we have of our own self, which leads to our real identity. If we look at the etymology of the word spirituality, it is of Latin origin and comes from the word spirit. The word spirit refers to changeless aspect of us, which is known as divine or God. Thereby, spirituality is severing our alignment with the changing personality and realigning ourselves with the changeless spirit. So that is the connection between spirituality and self-realization. So self-realization is nothing but me being established in my true identity, which scriptures say brings an end to the sorrows once and for all and gives me eternal happiness. So, personality is something what I use on a day-to-day basis, and I should not regard the personality as my identity. I should be very clear as to what my true ID is. The scriptures say, Jiva Brahma Aikyam. My identity lies with the infinite self and not with the finite personality which is based on the body, mind, and intellect. So, being established in the changeless, dealing with the changes is the way of ending all the sorrows. On the other hand, if I try to establish myself in the changing, that itself will lead to endless sorrow, and trying to deal with the changes of the world will not be effective, will not be efficient, and will be always a failure eventually. So, if you want to succeed, whether in this life, in whatever we undertake, or the life beyond, the only way is to let go of the changing personality and establish ourselves on the changeless identity. That is what is known as self realization. And this self realization has practical implications in our day to day living, even in the worldly life, as well as the life beyond, that what we call moksha or liberation, where it brings the cycle of birth and death to an end. Once one becomes real self-realized, then one is not born anymore and doesn't continue to suffer. What is known as the ocean of birth and death is brought to an end. One crosses the ocean of birth and death. This is what the scriptures say. And self-realization is the means. And self-realization, in simple words, asserting your true identity, giving up your wrong identity. And this is the confusion what Arjuna had in Bhagavad Gita. When Bhagavad Gita teaching was given out to Arjuna at the battlefield, where Arjuna was suffering because he subscribed to the wrong identity, that he's a person, he's so and so, he's the relative of so and so, etc. So Lord Krishna, all what he did is remind Arjuna about his true ID. But his first teaching itself tells him, it educates Arjuna about what is the true ID. And then the whole of Bhagavad Gita is nothing but telling Arjuna, be established in your true identity and act in this world. He says, go on, fight. Meaning, the message to us is, go on, live your life. Do whatever you have to do. Succeed, whatever you choose to. But only way to do that is to be established in your true identity, which has dual purpose. One is it delivers you success in this world, as well as the world beyond, the life beyond as well. That's the message I wanted to share today with regard to spirituality and self-realization. I wish all of you a great day, as well as progress in your spirituality.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. It is always a pleasure listening to you. And you mentioned this deep topic so simply. The takeaway for all the audience must be different from your speech depending on their level of understanding. But what I could understand is that self-realization is getting the right identity card so that I can disidentify with the limited and wrong identities, which are neither unique nor static. And to gain an identity which is unique and infinite. And you mentioned that with that changeless, infinite identity, it will help me to deal with this changing world, remaining myself changeless. And that will yield success here and liberation hereafter. So I'm sure that you navigated us in such simple words. That has been always your unique way of presenting thoughts. Thank you very much for blessing us always, Swamiji. and looking forward to meet you again in person someday, either in Sri Lanka or Bharat.
Sure. Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Swami Gunatitananda for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.